Welcome, everyone. My name is Jeff St Laurent, and this is the Tuesday Live Show. And just a second from now, I'm going to bring on a great mentor coaching and client of mine. But before I bring him on, let me just get a few things out of the way because I want to jump right into this today. All these live shows are recorded, and they're put on my website at sellingcoaching.com under the university. So please check that out. I help coaches transition to a full-time business. So I've got a lot of fantastic resources there for you as well. Right on the homepage of sellingcoaching.com, I've got a great resource for you, and that's launching your full-time coaching business, the first 3 vital steps. So that's an audio video program that I want you to listen to. It's definitely going to help you wherever you're at, but especially with the first vital steps to launch your coaching business. So enter your name and email. That's also going to put you into my email community so we can stay in touch. You know what's going on with me, and I can share some great information for you on a weekly basis so you can learn and grow into your full-time coaching business. Also a great example of how I can use and how you can use your email community to stay in touch, because that's a vital piece of what you're doing. With that being said, I don't want to talk about anything else besides bringing the man of the hour on, my great mentor, coaching client, From Homeless to Greatness, the author, which we're going to talk about, Shaundi Goins. Welcome, Shaundi.
Thanks, Jeff. Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And Shaundi, I want to jump right in with you because, you know, we did our work. You know, you hired me. It's like, I think we talked right before, and it's been about 2 years ago, you know, where we did our work. But we can talk about your coaching business, but I mean, it's all in the book, and we're going to get to the book, but share a brief version of your life, because like, and I was telling Shaundi before this, like when him and I worked together and when he hired me as his mentor coach, you know, I knew a little bit about him and he shared some things as we went along, but I helped him with his coaching business and set that structure up and get him going. We never really dove into the details that I've been reading, you know, in his book. And as I'm reading this book, I told him, you know, before we went live today, I'm like, dude, I said it like this. I'm like, dude, you were messed up. And he was laughing. But I mean, give people a snapshot of where you were and then where you got to, man, because you inspired the crap out of me.
Thank you. So when I was in the Navy. And I think I lasted for about maybe a year and 4 months. And I was 23 years old. And so when I got out of the Navy, I was so depressed, and I felt like I dishonored my family because I couldn't even finish my 4-year term. And so I got kicked out because I was an alcoholic, a severe alcoholic. When I got out, I dove deep into drugs, crystal meth, ecstasy, and I ended up homeless. And I was out there in the streets of Fremont, California. I just lost my way. You know, I was severely depressed. I was suicidal. I just felt I was not enough. I couldn't hit no goals whatsoever. I couldn't keep a job, and it was hell. You know, I was finna do something very stupid, and I'll never forget the last day that I was homeless. I remember God telling me that you were meant for so much more. You're not meant to be on these streets. You know, there's greatness inside of you. You're meant to serve a mighty nation. And all I know is for some reason I agreed with him, and he said, you need to go to rehab. You need to take care of the drug. You need to take care of the drug problem first. Otherwise, you can't do anything else. So at that very point, Jeff, I took 100% responsibility over my life, because I realized nobody's coming to save me. No one's going to come give me $1 million. No one's going to come say, here, go to 12-step and we're going to take care of you. Nobody was coming. So I had to take 100% responsibility over my life. I made a decision that I was never going to return to the lifestyle I was living. I got clean and sober. I learned how to live life on life's terms, went on to college, got 2 awesome degrees. And I went on this journey of personal development. And I saw a video of Les Brown. He says, you got to be great. You got to be hungry. And that got me into the coaching, speaking world, you know. And so it's been a hell of a journey. But my journey ended up becoming my victory, which is great.
Yeah, it absolutely has. And it's amazing how there you go from one type of mindset, like very unconscious, to, all of a sudden waking up going like, wow, I've got to take responsibility for this. And then, turning it all around from there.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward then to, you're on this journey and now you're like, I want to be a coach. I want to be a speaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part where you came to me and you started, hearing what I was doing and things like that. And talk about, where you started with that coaching journey and what brought you to me and what brought you to say, like, I need to work with this guy, in terms of where you wanted to go.
Absolutely. So I cut my teeth in business through network marketing, direct sales, and I had a phenomenal mentor who was a big time speaker, trainer, and I loved doing that. It was my introduction to business. But one day I just I sat at home and I says, this network marketing company I'm working for, that's actually somebody else's business. I want to be that coach. I want to be that speaker. And I said, I think it's time for me to move out of network marketing and learn how to become a coach. So I went to a coaching certification program, and it gave me a lot of tools, but I had no experience as a coach per se, and it was just really overwhelming. Well, one of our fellow IPEC alumni, Melissa West, said, if you want to become a great coach, you need to enroll in the IPEC. So a couple years later, I enrolled into IPEC in 2015. And the one thing that I noticed, I started watching the successful alumni, such as yourself, and I was like, what are they doing? I was brand new. I was like just out of LPT, and I was like, what are they doing? Because I want to be at their level. And so I saw you posted on the Facebook group, and I saw how you were like really helping coaches go from like becoming an aspiring coach and helping them to build a business, and so I says, I'm not here to have all this theory behind me and have a good coaching philosophy. That's all great. But in the coaching, it's a coaching business. And so I needed a mentor that could like really show me the ropes, how to get paying clients, and really help me create a system for my business. And we connected, man. And you gave me what I needed to.
Yeah, man, and you were such a receptive student too. Like I could tell, like you're like, dude, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I got this. And you had all the flair, the desire, the passion, the guts, the willingness to go after it all. It's just you needed some of that guidance, right?
Yeah.
Talk about the path that you set off from as we started to work together. Talk about some of the things that you started doing and that trajectory that took you to where you are now.
Sure. So, in the early years, you're getting experience, you're doing one-on-one coaching. And, one of the things that you taught me was how to get over that. Shaundi, what your coaching service is great. I know I need it, but I don't have the money. And I think it's probably the greatest skill that I've ever learned as far as the business side of coaching was how to alleviate that price thing. Because like you taught me, I don't want my clients to worry about price. If we're going to work together, if I'm going to help you, I want us to be focused on your goals, right? And once I learned that and I implemented that, it was, I almost want to say it was almost easy to get clients. So I started with one-on-one. I graduated from IPEC, 9-10 months later. And I think at the height of it, I had like 17 clients, which was really great. As a new coach, we do a lot of individual coaching, while we're learning our craft. But quite frankly, I actually got burnt out because I had no time for family. I was still getting out of IPEC, getting all the requirements and stuff. I was still working 9 to 5, as a director in higher education. And so I took some time off. I went to grad school. And while I was in grad school, it was about learning how to do group coaching, learn how to do mastermind groups, like learn how to coach more people at one time instead of individual. And I learned how to create coaching packages, which was awesome. So right before I got out of grad school, I'm watching all my IPEC fellow classmates, and it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years later, and they're all taking off. They're all taking off. And I'm sitting on the side, and I'm like, oh, so you guys are taking off. And I says, wait till I get out of grad school. And so I had created that system you taught me, and, I learned how to do the group coaching and creating a signature package. And then when I came out, I blessed a former student of mine to kind of not be so rusty anymore. And then from there, it was just going off referrals, just really adding value to that client. Every client that I have is just about adding so much value. Like, why would you not refer a friend, family, coworker, associate to your mentor coach that's helping you go from here to there, which is from good to great to phenomenal.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the path that you went on. Meanwhile, you have a family, you got small children, right? So this is a lot that you're dealing with there.
Right.
Talk about now the path to the book, because this is and it's a real book, man. This is a thick book. It's got juice in it too. So talk about, like, 'cause I know personally, your vision for speaking in the large audiences and, the path that you're on now, but what got you to the spot of saying, all right, I got to do this book, and what has it done for you?
Right. So, throughout the journey of being in, my years in personal development, obviously I've known, oh my God, thousands of people in our industry, from top leaders such as yourself to, every level. And anybody that I encounter, when I tell my backstory, it was like, wow, you have a story, and then people was like, you should write a book. And I am a writer. That's probably my second God-given gift besides the speaking. And I was putting it off. I was like, I'm going to do it. When I got into IPEC, I was like, I'm going to do it before I graduate, right? Never happened because of the timing. And I met a young man who was helping aspiring authors become authors. And I talked to this guy, and I'll never forget, I told him my whole life story for probably about 11 o'clock p.m. to about 3 a.m. And he just let me go, and we got off the phone, and he says, dude, what if I told you that I helped 16-year-olds become published authors? And I was like, 16 years old? It was like, yeah, go to my website. I'll show you the young lady that I'm working with. She's a sophomore in high school. And so he began to show me he was working with youngsters, Jeff. Like, his son was like 9 at the time, and his son became a published author. And so I'm competitive. I'm like, no, I can't have no 16-year-old. Like, we have, children are bold. They have that God-given childlike faith. They have no fear. So why should I have fear? So I got with him, and he helped me how to get the vision for my book and get it out on paper and just the whole process and publishing it. And I'll tell you, man, like, you're a published author. When you go through that process of writing, it was very therapeutic. When I wrote the book, I was uncovering layers from the past. There were some nights I was crying because, I was going back to my past. But when I got done, and when I published the book and I started promoting the book, it was people coming out of nowhere that was like, I never knew your story. It was relatable to a lot of people. And, that was God saying, it's time for you to unleash your story to the world, because people need to hear this, because people have gone through everything that you've gone through. all the pain and suffering. And you got to teach them how to go from barely surviving in life to thriving in life. So that's why I created the book.
Yeah. Well, from homeless to greatness, right? That's what it was. And how has this book helped you with your coaching business specifically? Because I mean, I've got a lot of mentor coaching clients and I'm helping write a book right now. Other people, I'm sure everyone's got a book in them.
Right.
But talk, for those of people that are listening to this, watching this, going, okay, how would a book help me? I know what it did for my business, but when I wrote my book, what has this done for you? How has this helped you with speaking, getting clients, all that good stuff?
Door opener. It's a door opener. Like it's the initial prospecting, like if you want to go into organization and potentially do some maybe a workshop or do, a 45-minute coaching session on effective communication. When people see that book, they consider you an expert, right? And so coupled with, oh, he has an education. Oh, he has at the time he almost has a master's degree. Now I have a master's degree. So when people see that book, he's an author. He has, 11 years in the higher education industry. He's made over $60 million in revenue in his career in the higher education industry as a recruiter. It was just like the book complemented all my credentials, all my years of experience. And it was like, this guy is legit, and, so when it comes to coaching, we're not going to get everybody in the first call. We're not going to get everybody on the first one-on-one, but we all know in the industry that it's a process, right? So after my 2-hour insight session, if the timing is not right, Jeff, then, they have access to my website. They're going to see the book. They're going to see the blog post. They get invited to my Facebook, public page, the social media. They see the work. They see the journey. And sooner or later, they're going to come back and says, I want what you have. So it's been huge. It's my best friend from a business standpoint.
It really is. It's a great tool to have. I always call it the 5-pound business card, right?
Yeah.
And it's a foot in the door, but it leverages you in so many different ways. Let's talk about your website for a minute. Let me pull that up a little bit and tell people a little bit more specifically about what you do, how you help people, and then also how they can get a copy of the book.
Sure. So that is my website, www.shaundigoinscoaching.com. And so, people always ask about, what's your, you gotta nail your niche. You gotta nail your target audience. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in niche and target audience. Everybody's different though. And I believe in business, there's this learning curve, and everybody has to find their own way, and through trial and error, I come to realize my target audience was not millennials. Jeff, my target audience were millennials when I worked in higher education. But when it came to my business, the target audience that related to me was women that was in the generation of baby boomers and older millennials. And what I help I would say 99% of my clients is helping them overcome their inner critic and helping them overcome their fear of just taking all out intentional action while they're afraid, right? So some clients are young coaches. Some clients are coaches that's been in the game and they really haven't, they've been doing a lot of free sessions. But they haven't been getting paid for their time and energy, right? And we, I take them take them through this process of what is the one thing that's stopping you from stepping into your life of being a life changer. Like you went into this industry, you spent tens of thousands of dollars or whatever it is on your coaching business. You have a college degree, You have all this life experience. Like, you know how to coach people overcome their inner critic, but you're stuck. What's going on, right?
Yeah.
And my process is, what would it mean for you if you took just 5% more responsibility over your life and your results? You know, not 100%, but 5%. And if they say, Shaundi, I can do that. Okay, great. When you want to get started on doing that, you know, and really break down my process of, you know, is that it sounds great, but is it manageable? You know, it's manageable. Okay, great. When you want to start doing that, you know, today, what time? You know, what steps are you going to take to start, you know, getting paying clients, right? And just really taking them through a process, a combination of things that I've learned from you, things that I've learned from other mentors. And now that I've been doing it, it's now my school of thought. It's now my coaching philosophy, you know. And so my coaching philosophy is to take 100% responsibility over your life and results, make a decision. You have a mentor. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. You know, and I share stories. And, you know, I'm working with a youngster named Kim Johnson. She's 29 years old. When she first came to me, Jeff, she was like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to market. I don't want a niche. I don't want a target audience and all that stuff. And I was like, I hear you. Breathe. Just breathe. And I took her through my process. We went, you know, in order for me to really help anybody to start making some steps to change, I gotta get into your inner core. We gotta make yourself strong on the inside so we can make you dominant and unstoppable on the outside. And so once we work with that inner critic, once we work those gremlins, once we work with those fears, it's like, what kind of action can we take? Incremental actions can we take today? And I'll tell you, within the first 4 months we were working together, she quit her job at Amazon. She's working full time as a coach. She's on her way to take the CPC. So she hasn't even took the CPC yet. And she's doing this full time, and she's taking a full trip to France. And I tell my older coaches, mentor coaches that's been in the game for a while, I'm like, you do realize you got people that come from the same school we came to. They're getting paying clients while they're in LPT. Some of them are already building a full-time business. They haven't even graduated from the school that they went to. When are you going to get going? You know, and so that's my process. You know, it's all love. It's all love. I believe as a good coach, if I'm going to help you out, I call it the come to Jesus moment. When I have that come to Jesus moment, it says, okay, we've been working together for a while, but if you want to change, we need to start getting on the things that's going to help you change. And it's just like, I'm here to help you out. It's not that I want your money, but it's like, why would you hire me and stay the same? Right?
Yeah.
You know, and so I just baby stepped into this process and says, dude, I want you to do it afraid. Do things that do some quirky stuff. Do things that like make you feel uncomfortable. Like do a Facebook Live. Let's do a 7-day Facebook Live challenge. Just do it. You're not getting paying clients. You're not doing anything like that. Charles is doing computer. You're not doing anything like that. Don't be attached to the results. Just do some crazy, quirky things, you know, and I do the same thing. I tell what I do. They'll see me. I can't dance. But I'll dance. They're like, dude, you got 2 left feet. I'm like, you know why I do that though? Why? I say, because it keeps me outside my comfort zone. Growth happens outside of our comfort zone. If it was that easy, everybody would do it, you know. And so I've been really successful with that and just really helping people take incremental steps and let them know from the gate, I'm going to work with you only if you're willing to take 100% responsibility over your life, because you can't blame nobody else. whether if you're successful or you're not successful, that's all on you.
Yeah, and Shaundi, what I love about it is that, and that's your story, right? I mean, that's the story for you is that you weren't taking any responsibility for your life, you know, and then all of a sudden one moment where you're like, I don't want to do this thing anymore. And, you know, God spoke to you and said, you know what, you got to step up. You're meant for greatness. That's when you took 100% responsibility for your life and you turned it all around. So I could see how that you mirror that with everything that you're saying now. I'm just like, yeah, as you know, going through the book how I have, I'm like, that's his book. I'm like, that's what he talks about, you know, that's like, that's been his experience, you know? Shaundi, tell them how quick, as we wrap this up, how they can get a copy of your book from your website.
Sure. They can, so when you go onto the website, you can click on page book top. On the home page, click on book. It'll take you right there. Go down to a link. It will say pay now. Click on that link, and that's how you get the book. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, baby.
Yeah.
You know, I love it. I got a signed copy of that, and Shaundi, this will be in my library forever. It's awesome. Thank you for what you've given. You know, as I believe as coaches or as a mentor coach even now, but you know, we always, not only do we help our clients, but we always learn from our clients as well, you know, and I learned from everybody that I've ever worked with, you know, and I've learned so much from you, and mostly I love it's taking responsibility, right? It's your story, right? It's taking responsibility. It's not having any excuses, and it's going through and persistence to go through whatever you have to go through to get there. And you've been through a lot of challenges in your life, and you'll have many more, hopefully not as big as they've been, but you're getting through it all, and you inspire me to do that. And so I thank you for that, and I thank you for everything that we've shared, and I look forward to what we can create in the future together, you know?
Amen, brother. Let's do it.